Professor Mutahi Ngunyi, who coined the tyranny of numbers which propelled Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto to the presidency in 2013, and also coined the hustler nation, which propelled William Ruto and his Kenya Kwanza brigades to the presidency in 2022, is now suggesting that Musalia Mudavadi and not Rigathi Gachagua will be William Ruto's running mate in 2027. This is what Mutahi Ngunyi posted on his official Twitter handle. Mudavadi will be Ruto's running mate in 2027. Kikuyus will be downsized and will need a Kenneth Matiba to regain relevance. I want us to look at this particular tweet, because Mutahi Ngunyi is not your ordinary Kenyan. Mutahi Ngunyi is a top political analyst. He coined the tyranny of numbers, which worked. He coined the hustler nation, which worked. And personally, I've also been thinking towards this line. But for me, one thing I'm concluding is that I don't see any chance of William Ruto going into 2027 election with Rigathi Gachagua, but you never know, he can go with it. Before we get into all those details, please, in case you are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And with the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Now, why do you think Mutahi Ngunyi is suggesting that Ruto will go with Musalia Mudavadi? I have different theories. Number one, let us begin by Musalia Mudavadi's latest moves. Rigathi Gachagua has been talking. You know, Rigathi Gachagua was arrested once, and that arrest has been the talk of the town. In fact, there's no meeting, be it official, private, church, or any other meeting where Rigathi Gachagua will not mention that he was arrested. And there's no event which will pass with those Rigathi Gachagua reminding Kenyans about Jubilee government and Uhuru Kenyatta and the handshake. So Mudavadi of late has been trying to contradict Rigathi Gachagua. And not only that, there is also a trend which I'm observing. Maybe I could be wrong, but you can remind me. Musalia Mudavadi has been trying so hard to avoid Rigathi Gachagua's event. In any event where Rigathi Gachagua is, unless it's cabinet or those high-end meetings, you will never see Musalia Mudavadi. These are signals that Musalia Mudavadi is fighting with Rigathi Gachagua. Someone can interpret it to mean that they're competing on who should be second in command. William Ruto made that very clear that Rigathi Gachagua is actually the second in command. So there is underlying politics between Rigathi Gachagua and Musalia Mudavadi. And if you look at it keenly, it's all about 2027. Initially, William Ruto wanted to allocate Musalia Mudavadi an office at Harambee House Annex. Rigathi Gachagua blocked that. William Ruto was doing that because he wanted Musalia Mudavadi to occupy that historic office. That did not happen. So for me, Musalia Mudavadi's moves points to someone who is preparing for running mate. Remember, he never delivered. Musalia Mudavadi failed to deliver in Western Kenya. Rigathi Gachagua delivered in Mount Kenya. Why would William Ruto drop him? I'm going to explain why that's not important now. Number two, I've been also observing Rigathi Gachagua's mistakes of late. If you've been keen, Rigathi Gachagua has been talking, committing mistakes. Sometimes he would speak and even William Ruto would like. Although it's politics, you can say that there is no way Rigathi Gachagua can just speak without being guided. But I remember the last official function, Rigathi Gachagua had to stick to his written speech. So Rigathi Gachagua has been committing mistakes, and Kenyans are even questioning whether the Rigathi Gachagua is actually a presidential material. And because of those mistakes, there's a chance that William Ruto is likely to replace him. And will that person be Musalia Mudavadi? For me, that person can be someone else. And that's why I always insist that if you look at the way William Ruto allocated functions and responsibilities to key Mount Kenya leaders, they were meant to checkmate Rigathi Gachagua and each other. For example, Moses Kuria is now a cabinet minister, which means in case Rigathi Gachagua will start giving problems, Moses Kuria will have the capacity to actually fight him. In case he will bring problems, then Ruto will simply elevate majority leader, who is Kimani Ichung'wah, in the National Assembly. Then in case things go south, he has the option of even elevating Ndindi Nyoro, who is a close ally of the president. So for me, these mistakes which Rigathi Gachagua is making will be untenable at some point in time. And because of that, they will figure out that, okay, the best thing is Rigathi Gachagua is not going to be the running mate. And who will be that person? Musalia Mudavadi or someone from the Kikuyu nation? Which takes me to my third point, the disappointed Kikuyu nation. Let's face it, William Ruto and his team made promises after promises after promises to the voters in the Mount Kenya. The truth of the matter is that some of the promises they made cannot be achieved. And because some of these promises cannot be achieved, the entire Kikuyu nation who voted for Ruto are going to be disappointed. And what will they do? They will rebel against this government. So William Ruto understands one fact, that there is no way he can bank on the Kikuyu nation in 2027 100%. Because these people actually left one of their own last minute, Uhuru Kenyatta. They left Uhuru Kenyatta. After leaving Uhuru Kenyatta, they voted for Ruto. There is no guarantee that they're going to stick with William Ruto. William Ruto understands this so well. And because the Kikuyu nation might be disappointed, they might be tempted to rebel. And once they are tempted to rebel, they might find someone to rally around. And that's why if you look at Mutahi Ngunyi's tweet, Mutahi Ngunyi is suggesting that the Kikuyus will be downsized. So something will tell Ruto to start downsizing them. Of course, if you look at William Ruto's cabinet appointment, in State House, all the Kikuyus have been removed. You go to office of the president, most of them have been removed. So Mutahi Ngunyi is suggesting that they will need a Kenneth Matiba to gain relevance. Because the truth is, Kenyans are very happy, or would be very happy, if Kikuyus will be left out of government. That's what I'm telling you. I'm reading the mood. I read the comments. Yeah, why? Because they felt that the Kikuyus are the main reason why Kenya Kwanza government was actually formed in the first place. That without the Kikuyu support, Ruto would not be the president today. So if the Kikuyu nation will rebel, then that can even unite the other parts of the country to support Ruto. Those are the realities. And that's where Musalia Mudavadi will come in. Because if the Kikuyus will be able to rally around another individual, let's say one of their own, then it will mean that William Ruto will now go and look for votes elsewhere. And that takes me to my last point. William Ruto's strategy to consolidate Raila Odinga's support base. Why do you think William Ruto is so keen on consolidating Raila Odinga's support base? Why? If you've studied William Ruto's politics, you will agree that the guy always moves with his interest. That's why, as much as Uhuru was accusing him of early campaigns, he surged on. And those early campaigns targeted the Kikuyu nation. This time around, William Ruto is moving across the country, not focusing mainly on the Kikuyu nation. He's focusing on two regions, if you ask me. William Ruto is focusing on coastal region, and he's also banking, trying to focus on Western Kenya. For Nyanza, he's banking on the hope that Raila Odinga might not be on the ballot. And therefore, if Raila Odinga will not be on the ballot, then he's banking on winning the support of the Luo nation. And probably that explains why the PS for Interior is actually one of his friends, Raymond Omolo. So for me, I'm looking at William Ruto, and I'm looking at his 2022 strategy. Rigathi Gachagua might not be in the picture, because this time around, Rigathi Gachagua was in the picture because of Uhuru Kenyatta, which takes me to my last point. Uhuru Kenyatta factor. Why do you think the Mountain voted for Uhuru Kenyatta? I mean for William Ruto. They voted for William Ruto to punish Uhuru Mugai, son of Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta is now out of the picture. Uhuru Kenyatta is now home in Ichaweri, which means the Kikuyu nation will no longer need to remove Uhuru Kenyatta. The dynamics are going to change completely. Jubilee government, which they rebelled against, will no longer be there. So which means dynamics. Rigathi Gachagua will not have a job. His main job then was to counter Uhuru, to fight Uhuru, and to contain Uhuru, which he did successfully. Now that Uhuru Kenyatta is not there, I don't think he might be needed. But I could be wrong. This is politics. Mutahi Ngunyi could be wrong. I could also be wrong. I don't know what you think, but that's my take. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.